I've seen other people talk about it. They were talking about this thing with Sony PlayStation, uh, and about their pulling a bunch of movies off their video feed that they have. And this isn't the first time this crap's happened. The other companies had this shit happen to them also. Basically, they sign a contract license with some movie holding DRM company that sells them a license to stream their content. Like, say, Paramount or Warner Brothers say, yeah, this company can sell this company to sell to end users like us rights to watch some movie and supposedly own. But like anything else, like Ubisoft kind of pointed out, we don't own crap. It's a license. The same thing people are getting pissed off at GTA 6 because it's going to be on a digital storefront. You're not going to physically own a copy, which has been happening for the last few years. All games come with partial data on the disc, and the rest is downloaded over the internet. So when they decide to pull the game off the storefront and remove it totally, you can't download it no more. You don't own it. It's the same thing that's going on with Stop Killing Games. They're saying, hey, we bought this stuff, we should have the right to continue playing it even after the server shuts down. So you should allow us to have that option. Well, true, yes, I get it and everything, but when you buy these said games, they say that term service ownership, whatever, that hey, they sold you a license. You know, you bought the game, you purchased the game. You don't actually own it because you agreed to the licensing, even though you didn't read it. That says, hey, you don't actually own it. You own a license. Same thing Windows does. Windows says, hey, you buy a license to use this copy on said computer for as long as that it's physically there. Technically, Windows is going to send out an update that says, hey, at this said time, your house stops. You're forced to upgrade. Luckily, they don't, but technically they could. They could have done this clear back to 1995 because it said you buy a license. You didn't buy said product. You buy a license to say you can use said product. And that's the way that's always been. Almost everything that's IoT or whatever, you buy a license to use. You didn't buy it to own. And I agree with Lewis. We need to change the model that says, hey, you bought this, you paid your hard-earned money to own this, then therefore you should have the right to do with what you wish. I mean, yeah, I get it. IP, intellectual properties, and all that. You should not, it's copyright and says all that. You should not be able to reverse engineer it, modify it, or anything beyond what the said author wrote the game. Authors wrote the game. No, you shouldn't be allowed to do that because it's theirs. They own it. They put the work into it. They made it the way it is. I mean, I get it, like, hey, you find a bug in it and they're no longer working on it. If you're able to go in and correct the bug, fine. But it still belongs to them. You don't own the rights to take and change this. So yeah, I understand this, but also to the same point, you should not be told you can't own this. You can't have this. They should not be able, like you said. You go to Barnes and Noble, you buy a physical book, you buy a physical disc, you buy the CD. The CD should not say, hey, yeah, because you own the media, that we can come back and take those books or CDs or movies away from you because you bought the physical copy. You didn't buy a license to own it. You bought the thing as a physical copy. They shouldn't make it where they can disable the game or kill the game with an update. No. And this is where I agree. This is wrong. But when it comes down to the thing, you went out, you knowingly bought the thing, knowing that there's a license. You should understand that, hey, they can take it from you. They can remove your ownership, your right to have. And I mean, it sucks, yes. And do I condone piracy? Back in my younger days, I had no problem with it. Nowadays, not so much. But I mean, when you don't have the money to freaking give for a $100 game, and you don't want to wait 5 fucking years for it to come down where you can afford it, by then everything's moved on to something else. So that's yesterday's news. I don't see the right that any software developer should ask 80 to $100 for a content that you're going to have to download because you do not physically own it. So therefore, this idea of saying, well, you're paying for the bandwidth. No, bullshit. I mean, if they want you to pay for the bandwidth and make a subscription service where you pay them to help offset the fucking cost of that bandwidth, or do like what some of these other fuckers do. Their computer's on, the app is running, does the user have an option to, hey, they want to help offset the bandwidth by using some of yours? This fuck it. Instead of costing $80, charge them 40. You're using the bandwidth. As long as you share X amount of fucking bandwidth that makes the service happy, then fine. But if they don't share X amount of bandwidth to help offset the cost, they don't get to play game. Fucking make it simple like that. I have a little counter on there that says, hey, this is how much you gotta give. So if you gotta share 500 gigs, well, if you got the bandwidth to fucking give, then by all means, share away. I mean, hell, the internet companies, as long as they don't get mad because you're sharing 500 gigs of fucking data in a couple months, whatever. So it's on the owner to find games, find out what the ICP says, and say, hey, this is what you're doing. ISP's going to have to understand this is what the game model is turned to. It helps offset the cost of bandwidth to send games out. Well, that's what happens. I get that you have to worry about somebody slipping dirty data through there. But hell, I mean, I'm sure there's a way it's going to be done like that anyway. So, touche. I mean, have a good encryption. Lock down the file where it makes it hard for them to get in and dirty the data. Or just leave a chunk on their drive. Say, hey, this is only part of the data that they're going to be sharing to the other world. That way they can't. However you need to do it. Either that or every time you turn that damn thing on, it goes out and downloads X amount of gigs of data from the net to be content sharing for as long as your machine's on. That way they don't have a way to do it. But I mean, there's ways to fuck around and do it. I mean, just think about it. But I mean, I just find it really stupid that today, yeah, you don't own nothing. It's the same thing that's coming with computers and hardware and consoles. I mean, back when the day when parents said, "Oh no, we can't afford $100 fucking console," nowadays the parents are going to be saying, "I'm sorry, kid. There's no way we're going to spend $800 or $1,000 for a game console just so you can play the game." When the business model said back then that Microsoft, Xbox, PlayStation, Sega, and all that, they knew they were making hardware that they wasn't going to make money off. That they were planning on making money off the games. I mean, it's getting to the point now that they can't understand your software delivery side. People don't want to pay $80 or $100 for a fucking game, and now you're not making it on the console. So you're gonna screw them that way? Maybe you need to fucking get the game devs to realize just because Nintendo thought $80 to $100 game, this ain't working. Y'all need to take an understanding. You need to drop the damn price tag back. This model is not working. But I mean, the fact that you're gonna have it over these people's heads that you're gonna buy a game in 5 years. You know the console may move on to another console, but just know that in 5 years that the game will no longer be available. It's going to be gone. I mean, I get like the DS and all that. It was all storefront game. Servers need to shut down because a handful of people are the only thing left buying, downloading games off there anymore. And it doesn't justify paying for server space. I mean, yeah, I get that. But somewhere along the way, these people need to understand. Because these people want to roll out these fucking data centers, the cost of RAM and everything's skyrocketing. And now Apple's trying, oh my, we're going to have to raise our prices. What are we going to do? Why are you worried about it? You got Apple fanboys. Apple fanboys are going to fucking pay out their ass for a fucking new phone because they want the latest, greatest gadget. I mean, when you got people willing to drop $7,000 for a high-end Mac laptop, a fucking laptop, they want over $7,000 for a fucking laptop. For that same price tag, you can get a desktop at home, set up your way to fucking access it from wherever in the fucking world, and run your fucking LLM on it for way cheaper than fucking $7,000 and get more performance out of it. I mean, if you're willing to balls up and spend $7,000, do it fucking right. I mean, get it. You can get a 5090 on a laptop, 5080, whatever. And you're going to be stupid to buy that thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to have a gaming laptop. No, you're going to have like a fucking 4090 shoved in a fucking laptop. That as soon as you take it out the damn power cord, it goes dead. The bad part is, you know the thermal limit, that thing still gets fucking hot, and that thing ain't gonna last a couple of years because it gets so damn hot. You get lucky, maybe 3 or 4 years out of it. Yeah, by then they'll have a new GPU, but still, for what you're going to be asking for that damn thing to do, and you try to play off the battery or what have you, you're going to burn that battery out and everything else. I mean, come on. Be fucking smart. But yeah, people are fucking dumb. So you buy something online, a digital storefront, you cry later. Oh my. Yeah, that's on you. You read the license. You knew what you're getting into. Don't cry later because they took it away from you. Find a way to own the fuck around physical media, and if you can't, then I guess when you buy that damn thing, if the freaking hackers out there had already found a way to crack the game where you can own it physically to yourself, then by all means, download a fucking copy somehow. Don't get caught. Make sure your fucking firewalls are working. Make sure that damn thing doesn't have a way to call home. Because if you do, and that thing does find a way to call home, you're going to get a nice little letter from Sony or whoever saying, hey, you don't own this. Cease and desist.